The clatter of silverware died as my mother-in-law, Eleanor Sullivan, dropped her designer handbag onto the polished dining table with a thud. "This little act of yours ends tonight," she announced, her voice slicing through the quiet. From her bag, she pulled a thick folder and tossed it down. "I hired private investigators to dig into your past, Linda. My son deserves to know who he really married." I kept my composure, gently spooning pureed carrots into my baby daughter's mouth. Michael's brow furrowed. "Mom, what's going on?" Eleanor fanned out the documents like playing cards. "Your wife isn't who she says she is. She's been lying from the very beginning. If only she knew how close she was to the truth, and how far off. I wasn't a simple secretary at Morgan Enterprises. I was its CEO and majority shareholder, operating undercover to uncover a string of illegal acquisitions. But that secret had to stay buried, at least for now. According to my investigators," Eleanor continued smugly, "she's been sneaking into restricted databases, holding secret meetings, and hiding her true identity. Doesn't that sound suspicious to you?" Michael turned toward me, confusion and hurt clouding his expression. "Linda, is there any truth to this? She's obviously stealing trade secrets," Eleanor interrupted, slapping the folder. "Why else would a low-level employee have access to the CEO's private files? I've already talked to my lawyers. We can get the marriage annulled on the grounds of fraud." I bit back a smile. She didn't realize that her own digital fingerprints were all over several shell companies attempting to buy controlling shares of my business. Our cybersecurity team had already traced the activity to the Sullivan family's private server. Eleanor leaned forward. "Think, Michael. Have you ever seen this mysterious CEO your wife claims to work for? No one has, because she made the whole story up." Michael's silence was heavy. He and I had met years ago when he came to repair the office air conditioning, never knowing I owned the building he was fixing. That had been the beauty of it. He'd loved me for me. Eleanor smirked. "Oh, and one more thing. I've spoken to the board of Morgan Enterprises. They're very concerned about their employees' behavior." Right then my phone buzzed. Security alert. Sullivan Industries initiating hostile takeover. Emergency board meeting, tomorrow morning. So this was how she wanted to play it. Fine. Time for the truth, but not the one she was expecting. At that exact moment, my daughter tipped over her bowl, splattering Eleanor's so-called evidence in orange mush. Eleanor's eyes flashed. "You can't even control your child. You really expect anyone to believe you're more than a secretary who duped my son?" I rose slowly, cleaning my daughter's hands. "You're right, Eleanor. It's time the truth came out." I took out my phone and pressed a button. "Send them in." Moments later the doorbell rang. Eleanor's confident smirk faltered as James Parker, Morgan Enterprises' chief legal officer, stepped inside, followed by several high-ranking executives. "Mrs. Sullivan," James said evenly, "I believe you've been expecting us, though perhaps not like this." Eleanor paled. I talked to the board yesterday." "No," James replied, opening his briefcase. "You spoke with actors hired by your investigator. The Real board has been watching your actions very closely." Michael turned to her, realization dawning. "Mom, what did you do?" James powered up his laptop, revealing a web of emails and financial records. "Mrs. Sullivan," he said coolly, "we have evidence of your attempts to conduct a hostile takeover of Morgan Enterprises. To coordinate a hostile takeover of Morgan Enterprises through a network of shell corporations," James said evenly, flipping open another folder. "Unfortunately for Mrs. Sullivan, she targeted the wrong person." "That's absurd," Eleanor snapped, her voice rising. "I was protecting the company from her." She stabbed a manicured finger toward me. "She's been the one sneaking into confidential files." James's expression didn't change. "Naturally," he said. "They're her files." The only sound in the room was my daughter's cheerful babbling as she banged her spoon against the tray. Michael's voice broke the silence. "What do you mean, her files?" I exhaled slowly. "My full name is Linda Morgan Chen. I'm not the CEO's secretary. I am the CEO, and the majority shareholder of Morgan Enterprises. Eleanor let out a disbelieving laugh that bordered on hysteria. That's impossible. The CEO of Morgan Enterprises is a recluse, a mystery genius who never shows her face. Yes, James replied calmly. A deliberate choice. It allowed Ms. Morgan to work beside her staff, understanding the inner workings of her business while quietly tracking internal threats. Threats like, say, a mother-in-law who's been using her son's login credentials to infiltrate company servers. Michael's face went white. Mom, you used my access. Every late night you spent in the office, I said softly. Your mother's people were in your account, mapping our networks. We detected it months ago but needed to see how deep the breach went. Eleanor's mask cracked. You don't get it. Sullivan Industries is collapsing. We had to get that acquisition through. Speaking of Sullivan Industries, James said, retrieving another document, our audit found several suspicious fund transfers, specifically from your employees' pension accounts. Before he could finish, Eleanor grabbed her phone and slammed her finger on the screen. Instantly, every computer in the room came to life with a flashing message. Data transfer initiated. Her voice trembled with fury. If I'm going down, I'm taking your precious company with me. But she failed to notice my daughter pressing buttons on her bright pink toy phone, giggling as the lights blinked. Data transfer complete. Eleanor's triumphant grin lasted all of 3 seconds before every screen switched to display a looping cartoon of a laughing baby. What is this?" she stammered. I picked up my daughter's toy phone. That would be our decoy network. You didn't really think I'd let you access the real servers from Michael's home office, did you? Every document you thought you stole was a fake, crafted just for you. Lies. Eleanor's voice cracked, her confidence slipping away. Michael's eyes narrowed. Wait, the same tech team you hired to help you. The ones who've been rerouting funds from your employees' pensions. James nodded grimly. Exactly. We've traced every transaction. Sullivan Industries has been draining workers' retirement accounts to finance your attempted takeover. Over 3,000 employees' savings, gone. Eleanor's phone buzzed again. Her expression drained of color as she read the notification. No, that can't be. That would be the SEC, James said. They're raiding Sullivan Industries right now. Your partners are being taken into custody. But she wasn't listening. Her eyes darted across her phone screen, fingers flying. You think this is over, she spat. You don't even know what you've started. Her gaze lifted, sharp and vengeful. Tell them, Linda. Tell them about Project Phoenix. What Morgan Enterprises is really developing behind closed doors. My stomach dropped. Project Phoenix. Our most tightly guarded innovation, a quantum computing system capable of reshaping communication security worldwide. Hardly anyone outside my top research circle even knew it existed. How do you know about Phoenix? I demanded. Eleanor's lips curved into a sinister smile. Because I have someone on the inside. Someone very close to you. She turned deliberately toward Michael. My heart stopped. Michael, I whispered. What is she saying? He looked at me, guilt flickering in his eyes. Linda, I'm so sorry. But there's something you need to know. There's something I never told you, Michael said quietly. About why I really started working at Morgan Enterprises. The air seemed to freeze. My pulse quickened as the walls felt like they were closing in. But before he could go on, our daughter let out a joyful squeal and pressed another glowing button on her toy phone. Instantly, every screen in the room flickered to life, displaying streams of data that made both Michael's and Eleanor's faces drain of color. Project Phoenix isn't what you were led to believe, I said, my voice calm as the truth filled the screens. It was never about developing communication systems. Our daughter laughed again, tapping more buttons on her special toy. A quantum-encrypted controller linked to Morgan Enterprises' actual network. It's about defense, Michael said softly, realization dawning. You were creating a global protection system. Eleanor frowned, her confusion mounting. That doesn't make sense. Our intelligence reports showed. Exactly what I wanted you to see, I interrupted. Project Phoenix's real mission is to detect and neutralize corporate infiltration, including tracing every attempt to siphon pension funds from Sullivan Industries. The monitors displayed an intricate web of financial data. Every illegal transfer, every shell company, every offshore account, all exposed and logged by our quantum AI. Eleanor turned to Michael, trembling. But you told me you found proof of illegal experiments. The evidence you saw was planted, he replied. Because I already knew what Phoenix really was. I've known for months. I blinked in disbelief. You knew. He smiled faintly. 3 months ago I recognized the pattern in your network. The encryption signatures, the predictive algorithms. Could only be defensive tech. That's when I started feeding my mother false leads. Eleanor's composure snapped. You betrayed me, your own mother. Michael's voice hardened. You betrayed your employees. You stole their retirements. All to save a sinking empire. James stepped forward, holding a thick folder. Mrs. Sullivan, every stolen pension fund has been located and returned, with full restitution. But the takeover, Eleanor stammered, was doomed from the beginning, I said evenly. Project Phoenix had already flagged every breach attempt before it even began. Your entire operation was neutralized the moment it started. Just then our daughter tossed her phone across the room. It struck Eleanor's luxury handbag, sending its contents spilling out, including a flash drive labeled Phoenix Data. I picked it up and smiled. Your last piece of evidence. It's filled with baby photos. Rather poetic, don't you think? Moments later, FBI agents stepped into the room. Eleanor barely looked up as they read her rights and led her away. Michael turned to me. I should have told you I knew. And I should have told you the truth from the start, I said softly. No more secrets. He smiled, lifting our daughter into his arms. No more secrets. 1 year later, Morgan Enterprises' quantum defense platform safeguards corporations across the world from cyber theft and fraud. Eleanor Sullivan now serves time for pension embezzlement, teaching financial literacy to fellow inmates. A fitting twist for someone who once gambled with others' futures. Michael leads our global cybersecurity division, using his talents to protect what matters instead of concealing them. Our daughter has a real toy phone now, though she still pretends it can hack bad guys. As for me, I still spend time among my employees, not above them. Because protecting something valuable isn't about walls or secrecy. It's about building a community strong enough to defend it together. Project Phoenix was never just a technology. It was a rebirth, a promise that from the ashes of betrayal, we could create something better, stronger, and transparent. Eleanor's old corner office at Sullivan Industries now serves as a daycare center for Morgan employees' children. Because the best kind of revenge isn't destruction. It's creating a future where no one has to fight those same battles again.